Come on. Welcome to the Pantheon. I would like to proudly welcome all the way from the USA. This is Proxima. Please welcome Christopher, JT, Patrick, Evan, Jeffrey. Welcome to the Pantheon, my brothers.
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having us. What's up, my man?
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure, you guys. I love the music. I love what you guys do. So let's talk about this. Like, how long have you guys been together as a band?
Well, that is a tricky question. We have been piecing this band together over, I don't know, 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
At least 2 years. At least 2 years.
So still fresh meat. We love it.
Oh, sure. Definitely.
So most of us have played in the past with each other in other projects, so we knew of each other. Yeah. This project is just now forming together within the last 2 years.
Kind of like an accumulation of different projects into like some kind of like a super project, super group, I think.
That's awesome, guys. So let's jump right into it. Let's talk about your album, Silence and Thunder. Today we're talking about the song Still Remain. Looking forward to the fans getting a chance to check that out. So let's talk about this. What was it like creating the arrangement to this album and the song? Like, was it difficult getting the right sound? How many takes did it take? Please tell us more about your process.
Well, it certainly can take quite a bit in terms of tracking and arranging parts.
A lot of the stuff, a lot of the ethereal sounds in that song came in kind of last minute in the studio, just throwing ideas out. Our engineer is a really good dude, and he kind of helps pitch ideas as we go. But Still Remain got a kind of a personal meaning to it, and we just wanted the music to really match what we were trying to put out there as a whole. And I think that was kind of a personal one for you, Leonard.
Yeah, I wrote quite a bit of the lyrics to that one, and Sid kind of filled in the blanks. We worked on that one together. That one was from a really dark place, recent breakup kind of a thing, and not to get too emo about it, but it just, that song actually helped me quite a bit to kind of purge that demon. And a couple of people.
Music is very healing, isn't it?
It is. I think it's the best medicine out there. Last show that we had, a couple of people actually came up to us and told us that, the music really actually helped them think about it in a different perspective, which I think as a musician is the absolute best compliment you can get, is that somebody use your music to help them get through something rough.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to get too personal with it, we had a specific fan that had something traumatic happen in their life that come up to us almost in tears, saying how much that they were glad that we were playing it and put that song out, and meant a lot to them. So we're just glad we were able to come together and put the sounds where they needed to be to really, really have a complete package for what we were trying to get across to people, and it helped people. So we're really thankful for that.
That's awesome, you guys. That's beautiful. Music is very healing. It's helped me get through, not to get too personal, but it's helped me get through a lot in my life. And it's, I wish there was more sustainability for you guys. You guys take time out of home, work, family. You play for the grateful, the ungrateful. You deserve so much more, and you can't even get your first payment on a digital platform. Like, there's places like Record Union, TuneCore, DistroKid. I'm not sure which you guys use, but to get your album out digitally, if you don't get a certain amount of listeners or streams, you don't make shit. And that's what I found when I made my album with my buddy.
Yeah, exactly. We use DistroKid typically for now, and so far they've been really good to us. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes it feels like, and not that it's about money or anything like that, but sometimes it feels like you definitely put a lot more into it than what you're going to get out. But you have to be willing to make that step to help to help other people. And to help yourself, it's therapeutic. Even when you're sitting, if you're a guitar player, you sit in a room and you're just playing it, it makes you feel better. So we want to make sure that other people feel that way when they listen to our music, and that makes it worth, not paying out the way that you put it.
How do you guys feel about the idea of like possibly theaterizing music? Think of the regular movie theater. You got 12 auditoriums. Why don't we make one for music, where you can have 12 different auditoriums of different bands playing. Like, you got the theatrical ones, you got the ones that aren't that theatrical, but just still love to play music. What do you guys think? Like, do you think that would make a difference in the music industry if we theaterized?
Depends on the area. Yeah. That's a good question. I think if it was done the right way, in a good area, I think that, more venues the better. It gives more people a chance to get out and do things. And if they did it that way, where you had options, where you could go into different, but equally that could also, I guess, alienate certain artists or certain styles of music if you do it that way. So I don't know. I think it has pros and cons. I think it's a good concept, and I would be totally down if somebody could try to do that.
We played a show. One of the old projects we were in, we played a show in a movie theater. But each movie theater had like stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and they had like 30 or 40, 20-year bands playing or whatever. It was a good time.
Oh yeah.
It was in a closed down theater, so I mean, it was someone bought a movie theater and kind of did that, but didn't do it in different forms, like you're saying.
Cool.
That was a really good idea.
I think you take a look on social media. If you don't look for all the clubs in your area to see who the hell's playing, you're going to completely miss out. And there's just too many venues. Like, I'm trying to think of a way of, like, how do we compress it? How do we put everything in one place? So, like, that where, people aren't struggling to figure out, okay, well, shit, how did I miss this fucking band?
Right. I think a lot of that comes to, like, certain venues only market to a certain crowd. I think it's not so much about the venues, but about how it's marketed, the shows are marketed. And I think if people would stop isolating different styles into, like, their own style of marketing and just open it up to, like, more of the mainstream, even, bands that are more technical or more metal or pop or country, whatever it is.
Industrial, even. Like, all music should have a place. We have so many different genres of heavy metal now, but yet what people forget is that it all came from the same place. Look at our history.
Black Sabbath, exactly.
The Who, fucking Led Zeppelin, Kiss, and their guys, like Lemmy. He grew up listening to fucking Chuck Berry and listening to Jerry Lee Lewis, like those old crooners, rockers from the day. Like they influenced so much of our music, even getting back to jazz and blues and going back to the days of Robert Johnson.
Exactly.
Yeah, buddy.
It's always evolving, for sure.
It always is, guys. So getting back to your album, Silence and Thunder, I'm interested in the physical copy. I know that it's going to be available on most digital platforms. That's a given. But let's talk about, are you guys doing a CD, a vinyl, a cassette? What are you doing for the celebration of this album?
When we get there, we're still pretty deep into the tracking process. But when it's all said and done, I'm sure we'll do a CD release.
Vinyl.
We'll probably definitely do vinyl.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at some sort of like color print vinyl or some sort of limited edition pressing.
And I'm sure Chris, our manager Chris, he's been doing a great job. He'll help us put together some sort of event to kind of celebrate that release.
Well, we can definitely count on there being a nice, giant release party for them to play at. Definitely celebrate this album.
When is the release date, by the way?
Say what?
When is the release date, by the way?
We haven't got a release date yet, just because we're, like Patrick was saying earlier, the tracking and mixing process takes a long time, and we're fortunate enough to be able to have our stuff mastered by, you may have heard of him, Jamie King.
Yes.
He's a fantastic audio engineer.
He's very awesome. Very awesome.
And so, we can't give out a definite release date yet, just because we're not quite far enough to where we want to do that. But I can promise it should be relatively soon in the near future, and we're really excited for people to hear what we have.
Very cool, guys. So what do you think about the idea of, like, I was talking to a band earlier this week, and they said that it's so much better to create digital and then just bring a bunch of business cards with you, like with download codes. to get the music because they find it's a lot easier doing it that way than carrying 500 CDs with them on tour, and you got all the gear in the back and like just making it easier. How do you guys feel about that?
I totally agree with that. I think the lighter your load is when you're on the road and playing between venues, the better. Yeah. The concept of that sales is just it's everlasting at this point. I mean, the digital world is going to continue to expand, and once you go digital, you're going to be here forever.
Yeah, I'd like to see it more sustainable.
I agree, and I think the digital market. I mean, that's just the way the world is now. You know, everything's digital, everything's online, and it's just ease of access. It's convenient for people. So I think it's always good to have some sort of physical copy of your work, you know, just to make it more accessible for everyone. I think the more the better. The more options you have, the better. But absolutely, I 100% agree. Digital usually is the way to go nowadays.
Yeah, there's so much soul, though, behind the physical copy. Like, you see the album artwork, you see the production notes, who the bands thank, who the band members are, what they look like, and like, you don't see that in a digital file.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that was always like a big deal for me. Like you get an album or you get a cassette, and you'd spend 10, 15 minutes just going.
I love reading the lyrics.
Yeah, because you had your lyrics in there. You had, like you were saying, you had who they were thinking. It was just always like a little deeper bit of a connection. I miss that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think with the generational gap in music at this point, a lot of people in the newer generations are going to be going towards more digital. But you're still going to have those classic guys that want to open up a vinyl and look at everything. You're still going to have guys that if you told me tomorrow that Pantheon is going to have a special edition 8-track come out, I'm probably going to go out and get it just because of the fact that no one else has it. Not that big of a Pantheon fan.
You want to hear something funny? There's a band here in Canada called White Cowbell, Oklahoma, and they made a fucking 8-track.
See, that's fucking metal. That's awesome.
I know a band in Wisconsin that I've actually played a show with my former band, the Lords of the Trident, that did that.
Hey, Lords of the Trident. Hey, we got them on the Pantheon.
Hey, epic. They are epic.
They are epic. Yeah. Love those guys. So what's next for Proxima? Like, you guys got any tours, any festivals? What's next for you guys?
Well, we got 2 upcoming shows. We got one at the Rabbit Hole in Charlotte on November 23rd.
Yes,
23rd. And then we're also playing at Amos South End in Charlotte as well on December 27th with some great bands, and we're really excited for it. And then besides that, constantly working towards getting this album finished. And yeah, I think everything works out really well. And on top of all that, we're also trying to go through the process of upgrading gear and equipment. Kind of what Patrick was saying earlier, making the load lighter.
We're really not trying to overload them and still let them be creative when it comes to writing this new album, Silence in the Thunder. Just because, my job basically is just to make sure that they're comfortable and make sure that they go into stuff and we're properly promoted to make sure that we get the best output for the platform that is the metal that they play here. They've got those two major shows are big for them. They just got done playing the Carolina Uprising Festival in Charlotte. They had Crowbot and a few other big bands out there. Jeff Hardy's band. You had some great bands like Tyros that came out there. And the Amos and South End show with Charlotte reopening that venue, it's a great platform for the local music scene here. And these guys are going to kill that show 2 days after Christmas. It just can't get much better at this point with them. They're really pushing hard, and if you haven't heard of them, you're going to hear about it soon.
Yep, looking forward to it. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the Pantheon. Proxima, Christopher, JT, Patrick, Evan, Jeffrey, keep making great music, keep kicking ass. Horns high!
Thanks for having us, man.